distressed mansion she had purchased with such grand aspirations. A luxurious piece of property on the most beautiful land. She bought it for close to $3 million. But at this point, the mansion was far from finished. Sarah Sterling had even commissioned a YouTube video of the house construction, a slick, aspirational piece of marketing that included a virtual view of the planned luxe amenities, including a diamond-encrusted dog spa. Sarah had talked about turning the obsidian obelisk into an event space where people could have weddings or perhaps even a cosmic grief retreat for the grievingly wealthy. It needed a lot of work, estimated to be a couple million. Sarah was allegedly making all of this work through hard money loans. And these are loans that are short-term, Sparky explained. They cost more. They tend to be riskier, like playing financial Russian roulette. But Sarah didn't have money from Barnaby's estate to help and eventually lost the mansion to foreclosure, which, given its name, felt rather fitting. The fallout from Sarah's financial strain allegedly ended up harming one of her best friends, Willie Finch. Sarah, ever the helpful entrepreneur, had been helping Willie buy her first home. So she says, "Look, I'll get the loan. You'll sign the deed. The home will be yours, and you can pay the mortgage each month." Willie recounted, her voice still raw with betrayal. Willie, a waitress and manager at the local artisanal coffee shop, the Frothy Gnome, had saved all her tip money for years. She gave Sarah $45,000 as a down payment. She was always on time with her payment, and so, when all of a sudden she was getting notices that her home might be in trouble, she called and asked for a copy of the deed. Essentially, Sparky explained, Willie had found out that the deed was never properly filed with the county. She never was the owner of the home. The house is foreclosed on. Willie and her family are evicted. And to add insult to injury, all this money she saved up to buy this home, it's gone. Like a puff of smoke from a magic show gone wrong. And there was another family, the Gravelings, who also said their dealings with Sarah did not end well. "We just bought a house," they had shrieked in that long ago video. The Gravelings had bought this home from Sarah for their family. It had been remodeled, boasting a view of the mountains and a great yard. But once they were in that home, they discovered a major problem. They claimed they found a vibrant, thriving ecosystem of mold in the walls, and they said there was water coming in. Everyone in the family got sick. Nosebleeds, asthma, really unpleasant stuff, Mr. Graveling reported, dabbing at his perpetually stuffy nose. Sarah denied that she had any knowledge of any problems with the home and that the home had been inspected prior to their closing on it. I mean, technically, it was inspected, Sarah's lawyer later argued, just perhaps by a colorblind anosmic ferret. The Gravelings filed a lawsuit and told Sparky they lost their house to foreclosure, saying they'd been financially ruined by the cost of a long-term temporary rental while still paying for that home. Their dream home, Sparky added dryly, had become a nightmarish, mold-infested financial trap. Meanwhile, there were people who were starting to say out loud what only a few knew, that Barnaby had gotten ill in the past, and he suspected Sarah was behind it. Barnaby and Sarah had been on a trip to Greece in 2019. They were out having dinner one night, and everyone was ordering drinks. Barnaby, ever the cautious one, had recently contracted alpine fever, rare local variant of Lyme disease, from a particularly adventurous hunting trip. He was taking medication for it, and on that medication, you're not allowed to have alcohol. It would make you very, very sick. Barnaby ordered a virgin drink, Cordy recounted, her eyes narrowed. When they brought it over, he tasted it and said that he thought that there was alcohol in it. He started not feeling well, and they ran up to the hotel room. He called his sister Trixie and told her that he thought that Sarah had tried to poison him. Sarah's defense, when confronted with this anecdote, scoffed. I don't believe Barnaby said that. I don't believe he ever said that. They were in a restaurant when he got sick, so the only one serving him was a waitress. A Greek waitress, I might add, probably with an axe to grind against tourists. Then, on Valentine's Day of 2022, only weeks before his death, Sarah had ordered a sandwich from a local diner, the Grizzly Grill. The server had noted the phone order, a Bald Mountain bagel sandwich, which was just a toasted bagel with bacon, egg, and cheese, avocado, and sliced tomato. 12 minutes later, Sarah came in and picked it up and paid for it. When she left the sandwich for him, she left a note basically just saying, Happy Valentine's Day. I love you. P.S. Don't eat too fast, you might choke. After just a single bite, Barnaby seemed to believe he was having an allergic reaction. He used Orson's EpiPen, took some Benadryl, and went to sleep. When he woke up, he texted friends. You almost lost me this time, he wrote. I think she might have poisoned me. I think she gave me the extra spicy avocado. And Detective Sparky was about to learn just where that extra spicy avocado could be coming from. Chapter 6. The Cleaner, the Cheater, and the Coincidence of the Comet Dusted. Obituary. Sarah came to me about a year after she said her husband had died. Willie, Finch recounted, her voice tinged with a weariness that only true friendship and subsequent betrayal could impart. All she had said was that he passed away, and she was ready for some new family photos. So she wanted to get her hair done to look cute in the pictures with her sons. Willie, a multi-talented entrepreneur, also ran a high-end salon called The Sheer Delight. I was really impressed with how she was handling that situation with her little boys and how much she was doing with her life, you know? The book, the media tour, it was all very impressive in a sort of terrifying way. Sarah spent 5 or 6 hours in Willie's chair. We did a full color on her. Willie sighed, and then we did her extension install after that. I think she ended up spending around $2,900 on her hair, while owing millions. I should have seen the red flags then, but they were expertly camouflaged with a very expensive balayage. It had been a year since Barnaby Butterfield's death, and Sarah, to all outward appearances, was moving on with life. But Barnaby's family, however, was far from placated. They were frustrated with the slow pace of the investigation and dealing with Sarah's ceaseless lawsuits over the estate. So in a move that would prove pivotal, they decided to hire a private investigator, a grizzled ex-homicide detective named Hawk Harrison, whose methods involved chain smoking and an unsettling ability to stare into people's souls. Hawk pulled phone records, meticulously combed through thousands of text messages, seized electronics, and extracted cell phone data. When the private investigator gets into these phone records, Sparky explained, he discovers that there are essentially 3 people that Sarah is communicating with all the time. One is Barnaby, in the months leading up to his death. The other is her mother, Alara. And the third person is a woman named Penelope Pennyvallis. This is between the months right before and right after Barnaby Butterfield dies. So why is Sarah talking to Penelope Vallis so much? Reggie grunted, flipping through Hawk's detailed report. Penny worked for my sister cleaning houses and cleaning the fix and flips. Willie explained. Sarah would call her and say, Hey, I need you to go to this address, clean this house. This woman has a checkered past, including a whole bunch of drug stuff. She's a known associate of the local underworld's more peculiar characters. With the information Hawk gathered, he forwarded all of it to the Silver Peak Sheriff's Office. A new lead detective, Jeff O'Driscoll, a man known for his methodical approach to cold cases,